Hello, and thank you for joining us today for THV 11 News at noon. I am Rolly Hoyt. Journey Taylor has the day off. Hope your Monday is off to a good start. We've got these headlines for you. A helicopter evacuation from Sudan's capital city. Now in the news at noon, details on the Special Forces operation to get the American Embassy personnel out of harm's way. Warnings about social media scams after the March 31st tornadoes that involved pets. In 4 minutes, we're going to show you the red flags so that you can identify these fake posts and avoid them.
I think for somebody who already is abusing drugs, the difference between having these strips and not having these strips is the opportunity to go to rehab versus be killed instantly.
At 12:21, the closely watched trend that lets drug users test for fentanyl before it takes their life. Well, I clearly missed the memo on how to dress for our Monday to start things off. Meteorologist Nathan Scott is here, and you've been doing good work helping folks with Weather Watchers get their weather radios all set up, and it's
that's
a good
the reason
week
for
to
the
do
casual
it.
look. Yes,
yeah, and it's a good week to do it, right?
Yes, we had a weather watching event in West Little Rock, Bowman Road, earlier this morning. A lot of people came out, said hi, got to know weather radio. We're going to have one more event for next Monday at the Hayes Center in North Little Rock. That one is going to be for 9:30 until 11:30 again. So make sure you show up for that one. But this morning it was way too cold to pull out the t-shirts and shorts because we started off the morning with temperatures well into the 30s and low 40s area wide. 32 was the low in Clinton. It dropped down to 29 in Marshall. But with all that sun, we've made a nice rebound. Temperatures right now are into the low 60s, 61 in Clinton, 62 in Pine Bluff, 61 in Hot Springs. The clouds off to the west, they will be on the increase later today. A little bit of a breeze out there from the east-northeast, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Enjoy today, though. Soak it up. Get outside, enjoy the sunshine, because tomorrow and for a large part of the next several days, we're not going to see much sun, and also the chance of rain will be going up. I'll let you know how much rain we could see over the next 7 days coming up.
Nathan, thank you. Developing in the last hour, two major shakeups at the cable news networks. Fox News says it has parted ways with its top-rated opinion host, Tucker Carlson. And CNN announced that Don Lemon, their morning anchor, has been fired. Fox said the last edition of Tucker Carlson Tonight aired on Friday. That announcement comes less than a week after Fox and Dominion Voting Systems reached a settlement over the network's airing of false stories after the 2020 election. Lemon had courted recent controversy with sexist comments about former UN ambassador and presidential candidate Nikki Haley. President Joe Biden ordered the evacuation of U.S. Embassy personnel from Sudan over the weekend. As Nicole Skanga reports, it's an effort to get thousands of Americans out of the war-torn country as violence escalates.
U.S. Embassy personnel safely arrived at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany following a daring airlift operation from the embassy in Sudan.
We're taking further steps to support Americans and are exploring options to return a diplomatic and consular presence to Sudan as soon as possible.
U.S. Special Forces deployed from Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti Saturday to carry out the mission. Their Chinook helicopters left the base, refueled in Ethiopia, and then landed in the capital city, Khartoum, late that night. In less than an hour, they evacuated just under 100 people before making the trip back. The group was then flown to Germany. Secretary of State Antony Blinken monitored the mission as it was carried out.
I could not be prouder of our team, most of whom are now en route back to the United States.
An estimated 16,000 American citizens remain behind in Sudan. The Biden administration says most are dual citizens who don't want to leave, but for those that do, they're being told now is not the time. Sudan is seeing intense fighting as two of the country's rival generals battle for power.
It is not safe right now for another evacuation attempt. That would actually put Americans in more danger, not less.
National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says several dozen Americans did make it into a UN convoy headed to Port Sudan in the east, where ships are waiting to evacuate them.
The United States military is providing overwatch through unmanned assets to watch over that convoy to make sure that we're be able to see whatever security problems they might face.
The Pentagon is considering deploying U.S. Navy ships to the Red Sea to help with evacuations. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, the White House.
We are approaching 1 month since 3 children and 3 adults died in a shooting at a private school in Nashville. But today, the 3 Tennessee Democratic lawmakers who faced expulsion for protesting against gun violence on the Tennessee House floor, they are set to meet with the president. Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, along with Gloria Johnson, led calls for stricter gun laws, disrupting the chamber. Now that they're all back on the job, they're asking the president to do more to fight the gun crisis on a nationwide scale. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson is getting set to formally enter the presidential race on Wednesday. He spent the weekend in Iowa making his case as an alternative to former President Donald Trump.
Our best opportunity is to have a new face, someone with consistent conservative leadership.
Hutchinson is scheduled to hold a campaign kickoff in Bentonville on Wednesday. But the former governor found plenty of traffic on the campaign trail in the state that will hold some of the earliest votes next year. Former President Trump participated remotely in an event in Iowa, going before the Iowa Faith and Freedom Coalition on Saturday night.
And I will continue to fight for our values, our faith, and our freedom when we become the very important 47th President of the United States.
Sources tell CBS News that President Biden will announce his re-election bid tomorrow via a video message. That is the anniversary of when he announced his 2020 bid for the White House. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he is confident he'll have the votes needed this week to raise the debt limit. McCarthy is asking President Biden to come back to the negotiating table with debt ceiling talks stalled. Failure could lead to a default on the debt, which could be potentially devastating for the U.S. economy. THV 11 update for you now. A Pulaski County man remains in jail today, accused of killing his wife on Sunday morning. Deputies responding to a call about a shooting in the Blue Hill area near Maumelle. They found 67-year-old Karen Payne shot to death and say her husband, 67-year-old Donald Payne, surrendered to them. He's charged with first-degree murder and is being held without bond. The 5 FEMA disaster recovery centers located in Pulaski County and Wynne are evolving in their mission this week. New hours will start going Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then on Sundays from 1 to 6. These are places that are offering tornado victims the chance to get questions about financial assistance answered face to face. There are workers from FEMA, the Small Business Administration, and state and local agencies there. The centers are located here in Little Rock at the West Central Community Center, then in North Little Rock, the North Little Rock Community Center, Wildwood Center and Medical Tower in Sherwood. That one's closed on Sundays, and then First United Methodist Church in Jacksonville and Ridgeview Church in Wynne. Meanwhile, the Red Cross and various nonprofits continue to work alongside FEMA to deliver relief. We're talking things like food, water, clothing, diapers, and things like that. They will be in Wynne today, where the storms claimed 4 lives back on March 31st. It's in eastern Arkansas. After helping out in Little Rock over the weekend, volunteers from organizations like the Arkansas Food Bank tell us their services will be here as long as they are needed.
Well, the one thing is, and this is especially true with the food bank, is the food bank is in this for the long run. We're not here just this week for part of the disaster. We're here every day to help Arkansans in need.
The Red Cross, Salvation Army, Southern Baptist Disaster Relief, and Arkansas Food Bank are all represented at those multi-agency resource centers. They will be at Union Valley Baptist Church in Wynne today. A significant change taking place when it comes to debris collection this week in the capital city. The big debris drop-off site at Reservoir Park is closing to the public. The city wants people to just put storm debris right out on the curb. But be sure to separate what you put out, keeping household trash apart from things like tree and construction debris. City contractors will still use the Reservoir Park site. DRC Emergency Services has more than 30 trucks rolling around the city working in those tough neighborhoods 7 days a week from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. We have learned that scammers will stop at nothing to get a hold of your personal information or take your money. Just ahead, more on a new scam that's targeting you and your furry friends. But first, let's get a quick check of that weather from Nathan.
The rain train will be returning here to central Arkansas, and also cooler temperatures. Enjoy today because the weather will be going downhill for the rest of the work week. I'll have that forecast coming up.